This video is not intended for children. It is also not intended for cabbages. In recent years, many cabbages have been masquerading as human beings. Stop that. Likewise, many children on the internet have been masquerading as adults. You should probably stop that, too. In any case, this video is intended for audiences from emerging adulthood, ages 18 through 27, onward. Unless you are a cabbage.
Okay, so this is something I need to see.
Yes,
I have to see this.
you must.
I sense pain.
Oh, there will be pain, and it will be delightful for me.
Very well. Proceed.
This trailer is art, and you need to see it before anything happens to it.
Now you're scaring.
Really, I shouldn't say anything more. I'll just roll it.
Fine. All right, let's do this.
All right.
Show me the pain.
All right, pain commencing now.
Okay. Sonic. Yeah, can you turn that up a bit?
Yeah.
What the?
Was that an electric feather?
Supposed to be a film.
Oh. It's now a closer structure. What?
Yes, there it is.
Gotta go fast.
Look at the face. Holograms.
No!
Oh, it hasn't even got started yet.
Minutes ago, an energy surge knocked out power across the entire Pacific Northwest. This needs someone who can figure out exactly what we're dealing with.
You're not suggesting who I think you're suggesting.
What?
We have no choice.
What the? Are you in charge here? Yes, I am. Nope! I'm wrong. I'm in charge. Allow me to clarify.
No.
In a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify. Agent Stone?
The doctor thinks you're basic.
Listen, pal. I don't know if you realize
I'm sorry, Major. What was your name?
Benny.
Nobody cares! SFPD!
Oh, so good.
No?
Meow.
Oh, come on.
What? How did...
Now I want answers. Basically, it looks like I'm gonna have to save your planet.
How did he not dodge that?
It's supposed to be insanity.
And... Why...
Oh, is that all you got?
No, but thank you for asking.
Why?
Uh-oh.
Whatever this creature is, our job is to secure it, neutralize it, see what makes it tick.
There's good.
No!
Look at this. I took 9 million steps today.
No! No, it's not!
Quiet. How much longer? I can't breathe in here.
Do you have your child in that bag?
No. I mean, yes, it's a child, but it's not mine.
It's not your child.
Smells like body spray in an old
Yeah,
ham
right, right.
sandwich.
No!
After 40 seconds, he actually looks like it.
Okay. Context time. It should be pointed out, I have never played a Sonic game. Ever. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Bearing this in mind, I've never really watched any of the animated series. I assume there was more than one.
There have been so many, actually.
Okay. Never really watched them particularly. I am vaguely aware of their existence. Okay. That was an abomination. That was so awful. You know how Dave Strider has this loop effect, kind of like something can be so cold it burns, that it comes to a point something becomes so awful that it's cool because it's ironically cool?
Yes.
And then he notes later on that it can surpass that point and get to the point that it is even more awful than you had dreamed possible.
Yes.
That it actually oozes badness from every point. That it is chemically composed of pure bad.
Yes.
You remember that?
I do. I remember that.
Okay, that's good.
I obviously remember that. I'm a huge simpering.
We watched that just now!
Okay, alright.
Oh my lord, that was horrible!
Too high an echelon of irony for you then.
That was... No, No, okay, look, there are incredibly... Okay. There are... God, that's horrible! There are deep-sea creatures that have teeth, those flat teeth, structured like they gave Sonic.
Oh, yeah.
They're creepy as all hell.
Oh, yeah.
Those were not Hedgehog's teeth.
No.
Those were not human teeth.
No,
Those were horrible, strange creature from the deep.
Yeah, those were horror terror teeth.
The entire chemical design, the character design, was chemically bad. The entire character design was, I mean, it looked like someone's idea of what a Sonic cosplay might look like. And then they decided to render it. And I use the term render.
Yes. They rendered it unto us.
Yes. How do you do this? Okay, look. Again, not a Sonic fan, okay? Sonic is not my thing, okay? But I am aware that, by definition, as a video game character, there are illustrations of Sonic.
Yes.
These illustrations, by definition, are going to establish the baseline of the net comfort zone of every Sonic fan who will ever live.
Yep. Everybody knows what Sonic is supposed to look like. That is not what Sonic is supposed to look like.
Okay, now, again, possible that I'm speaking out of ignorance here.
No.
But, no, that was awful. I mean, literally, Sonic looked like a child wearing somebody else's furry suit made out of felt.
Yes.
And
so gross.
And okay, then you have Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Which, okay, you know, if you're going to make him Dr. Eggman, or whatever incarnation of the villain he happens to be, freaking make him Dr. Eggman. You know, make him the, bizarre world conqueror.
He's really just Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey as Dr. Jim Carrey.
Yeah, it was like Dr. Eggman playing Jim Carrey, and just not quite being able to get into character. And for crying out loud, okay, as I think of it, I never really got into the cartoons. and I never played the video games. I have read some of the comics.
Oh yeah, the old
I was, until the Dark Age hit, a massive comic fan and comic collector.
Sonic is really big in the comic series.
Yeah.
A lot of people really want to remember the Archon comics, and I think it continued past.
I mean, and literally, again, if you really wanted to, you could take a section of the comics, because some of them were really entertaining, and you could take your script off of that. I mean, literally, whoever put this together, all of the, not only the work, but the fan base testing for that work, it was already done. That's part of the frustration here, at least for me.
Yeah, I mean,
that you go into this and you already know, okay, what is Sonic supposed to look like, and what do the vast majority of fans love most about his design? That's already been established, and the illustrations are already there. The design is already there. It's already been done for you.
No, Hollywood knows better.
Hollywood knows crap. All
yeah,
right.
They think they know better.
If Hollywood knew what they were doing, you wouldn't have this disease happening amongst so many movies where every sequel is just a rehash of the movie before it. And that's not even going into the script for this thing, which, again, you can look at the comics. You can look at any number of sources and say, okay, what worked? You can look and say what stories worked, what characterizations worked, and it's been done for you.
They didn't care to. They're like, yeah, we'll just take the IP, we'll redesign it so that it's modern and realistic and, to quote the director, fits within our world. And we'll make another stupid fucking Smurfs movie type of the strange thing comes to an ordinary world, our world place, and shenanigans happen.
Now, okay, look, that can work.
That's what the premise of the Sonic X cartoon was, actually, and it did, in some ways, work.
You can have that element where a stranger comes to town. I mean, that is one of the great 7 principal stories. And if you have this alien to our world coming to this world, you can use that as an opportunity not only to explore that character in new environments and test how they would respond in a situation they've never been in before, but it's also an opportunity to explore our world from an outside perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot that can be done with that.
There's a tremendous amount that can be done with it. God, this was lazy!
Yeah, paint by numbers.
And I'm like, it wasn't even lazy in a good sense. Because again, they had potential scripts already written.
Yeah, there's nothing good here.
Character design was done. It's like, literally.
I'm looking forward to seeing this so much. This is gonna be so fucking terrible.
Have you no soul?
I just happen to operate a higher echelon, higher than you. You're clearly at a Dave level where you have someone to draw the fucking line. I'm at a Dave Stroh level where there's no fucking line.
No, there is a line. There is a line. Somebody has to draw a line in the sand, man. Somebody has to do that, and I'm drawing it here. This is horrible. This should never have been made. God. And okay, I realize that a lot of times, for whatever reason, when you're starting a project like this, or when you're continuing one, a lot of times people are very leery about bringing fans on board to the project. You run into that in various situations where people will be like, "Oh, you're a writer? Yeah, that's really cool." But the nanosecond that we find out that you've done any fan fiction on this genre, we will no longer be considering. That is a philosophy that apparently exists.
Holy shit.
And I say apparently because I am not part of that industry, so I'm operating kind of on secondhand information. I can't actually back that up with a primary source. However, it fits neatly enough into a basic human type of stupid that I'm willing to give it some credence. However, again, as someone who is not a massive Sonic fan, what the actual hell?
Well, the whole rest of the internet also asked what the actual hell.
Yes,
so the silver lining here is that the director is actually going to be redesigning Sonic, or well, he's going to be leading the redesign.
Yeah, but
horrifying level.
Yes, and that's only because, when you walk down the street, you see in front of Pitchfork Pete's 50% off sale. Everything must go. Free, 2 free torches with every pitchfork. Bring the kids. So, and that's
some kind of response was inevitable.
Some kind of response was okay. I'm not going to say it was inevitable. There are times that studios have doubled down on just some of the weird decisions that they've made. Just, twisted stuff. But, it's good that there was a response. They're keeping the same story, obviously, and
that's still garbage, and the script is really weak, especially the fucking basic. Because that's something that kids said at some point, or like 10 fucking years ago, at least in internet time, if not in literal years.
Maybe. I don't remember any point in time when I had not reached my maturity accusing someone of being basic.
I've encountered it before on the internet, but it was many years ago.
Alright.
It was really a thing.
I will take your word on it. And that's just one of many things on the internet that passed me by, and that's fine. But, if you want to write for, this is how kids talk today.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Don't think back on when you were a kid and assume that nothing has changed.
And again, if that were the case, then they would be saying things like hip to the jive or groovy daddy-o, and that would have been magical.
Don't underestimate. Alright, I'm not ruling any of that out. Especially with Jim Carrey.
Honestly, and even bad Jim Carrey is still enjoyable.
He has the ability to be phenomenal under the right circumstances. He has in the past been really good.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, this is like casting.
That was still enjoyable. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, this is like casting, the Fresh Prince in Wild Wild West. In fact, this is Wild Wild West.
They did do that actually.
This is Wild Wild West.
I love that movie. It's really bad. I fucking love it though.
You are the Antichrist.
I love that movie,
dude.
It's great.
Horrible.
It's terrible.
Dude, no, there's nothing. No, look, come on. I used to watch the series Wild Wild West.
I have absolutely no familiarity with the IP.
At some point in time, I'm going to expose you to the original series. It was think of what do they call it? When goths discover the color brown, steampunk. Think of the steampunk movement. Realize steampunk is basically an embracing of several cultural sources. One of them is the works of Jules Verne, who I also recommend very highly. And the other, one of the others is Wild Wild West. Wild Wild West was steampunk. I mean, doubled down and just that long, savage burn through the basic cortex. All right, it was an amazing show. You had, you had Old West airships and cyborgs at one point, and it worked. It worked because it was consistent within that world. Not because it made sense in ours, but they made it so it made sense in that world.
Okay, I agree.
And the acting was good, and No, we haven't. We're talking about why Sonic sucks.
It's because Wild Wild West was a good show.
No, it's because they did to Sonic the Hedgehog what the movie Wild Wild West did to the original series concept. You basically you kept the name.
Mm-hmm.
And,
yeah, that's pretty much all that
and you kept a few ideas, and then you said, oh, well, we're going to improve it with what the chart says on our markets. Rather than looking at the original source with a critical eye and looking at the fan base. And again, with Sonic and with the Wild Wild West, you had scripts ready-made. Mm-hmm. There's any number of story arcs you could just use, and they would have been brilliant.
That's the thing with adaptations. There's usually so much to work with, and more often than not, it's just a lift of the image, onto the butchering of the image, and just a lift of the name, and be like, the name will sell the tickets, let's just make it color by the numbers, bog standard Hollywood film, and cash in.
Yeah, and instead of having Will Smith as in his absolute Will Smithiest.
Yes, Will Smith.
In a character that, again, could have been really interesting. Alright? If they had gone into some of the resentment and some of the trauma that his character had to be dealing with, some of the struggle that he had as a free man who until very recently was, viewed as a slave and struggling with some of the racism of that time, that could have worked.
Instead, they had some of the most racially uncomfortable, drawn-out comedy scenes, like he was going to get hanged.
Yeah.
That scene is still painful.
Yeah, and then
it's painful to watch.
And then the rest of it just acts like the type of systemic racism that was existing just after the Civil freaking War didn't exist. And that its effects upon his psyche growing up in that environment wouldn't have existed. At the same time, now look at Jim Carrey in this role.
Uh-huh.
Jim Carrey at his Jim Carreyest.
Yep.
And no, this is not a good fit for that character.
Yeah, honestly, Jim Carrey was the wrong Jim that they cast for Dr. Robotnik. They really should have cast Jim Sterling as
from what you've shown me of his stuff, I could see that. I think he would have been brilliant at it, and I think he would have had a blast. It would have been amazing. I mean, if you had done that one casting change, he might have been able to carry the movie.
Yeah.
He might have been able to.
People suggest that just because Jim Carrey is Jim Carrey, he will save the film. I strongly disagree. I think he will make my ironic viewing of the garbage fire that is this movie that much more enjoyable.
Go ahead, slash my wrists.
But he's not going to save the movie. And the society change is not going to fix it either, no matter how painful it is. It's not going to save it.
It's going to make it so that... Okay, it's going to make it so that upon seeing this movie, the Sonic fandom is hopefully not going to go to the corpse where their collective mothers have hung themselves, pull the needles out of her dresses, and stab themselves in the eyes because they have seen too much. That is the one thing that they have been granted. All right? They have been given a stay of that Oedipus-like fate. And for that, yes, I'm grateful. For that small saving, I am grateful.
Yeah.
But, I mean, seriously, all other considerations aside, what chimp?
Yes.
What starfish? What extendable stomach with no brain self-replicating through severing, decided to put Coolio in the background in the name of reason. Why would you do this at Gangster's Paradise? Gangster's Paradise.
Oh my God.
The single most heart-rending, the single most soulful song he ever put forth.
Yeah, dude, it's a fucking powerful song. So they put it in a goddamn song.
I mean, and Coolio has done a lot of things, and he has wandered wildly in his career. And, you know, good on him. He is a very creative person. He has done everything from rap music to the background, from what I understand, the background music to porn. He's done a lot. He's a composer.
Yeah.
He's a composer. But Gangster's Paradise was the one song where everyone has to acknowledge the fact that the man not only had something to say, but he did it in a singularly brilliant fashion.
But clearly, Sonic lives the gangster lifestyle. He spent his life living in a gangster's paradise.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay, that would be, I'm trying to even think of an appropriate example. I mean, that would be like taking, I mean, that would be like, taking, you know, like Ice-T's, you know, Welcome to the Dark Side, or Enter the Dark Side. That's the name of it. Like,
Yeah.
Ice-T's Enter the Dark Side, or
Yeah.
So You Want to Be a Gangsta, and then putting it with, you know, like We're Bringing Back Bugs Bunny. So,
or Ninja Turtles.
or Ninja Turtles, yeah, Ninja Turtles, perfect. Yeah, because they're gritty and they live in the sewer, so you know, they know all about that G life. You know, who can we cast for Raphael? It's a shame that Eazy-E is dead. Come on! Good God, people! Okay, yeah, maybe people complained actually about when Weird Al did Amish Paradise.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but that is deliberately a parody.
Yeah.
In addition, when you have someone high profile like Al Yankovic, and he does a cover or a parody of your song, you know your song is going to reach people that it otherwise would never have reached before, because other people are going to be going, wait a minute, what's the source on that? What's the source material? You know, that's how I was introduced to Chamillionaire. That's how I was introduced to Lady Gaga, among a variety of other people. And for all the fact that, you know, there are rumors that there was a falling out between the two of them over the parody, it remains that Weird Al doesn't do parodies unless he has the permission of the artist involved.
Yeah.
That's why he's never covered a Prince song. Because he kept asking Prince, Prince said no.
Yeah.
I feel it very unlikely. First of all, that anyone is going to look at Sonic the Hedgehog and be inspired to say, man, I wonder what else Coolio's done.
Yeah, no, this is such a gross misuse.
You can't,
of the song. It's
no,
amazing.
you don't take a cartoon character and make them more gangsta by, note the lack of R, more gangsta by trying to marry them somehow to reality rap. You don't do it. All you end up doing is you end up cheapening both of them
Yes.
by association. And that's what was done here.
Such a goddamn beautiful trailer.
Oh,
the memes are so good. Oh my god.
I can
I've
only
seen
imagine.
so many Sonic trailer but versions. Like Sonic trailer, but it's Knuckles. That was like fucking fantastic. There was some really crazy ones. The title was just the Sonic movie trailer, but read the description because there's too many modifiers to show it the title. One of my favorites was where every time Sonic was on screen, it was like 1,500 times faster. Because only parts where either Sonic or Eggman were on screen. Whenever Sonic was on screen, it was 1,500 times faster or something. And whenever Eggman was on screen, it was like 12% speed. And had horrible distortion. It was beautiful. The memes have just been absolutely wonderful.
And, okay, you keep bringing up irony.
Yeah.
And I think that if there was some indication in this trailer that they were using Coolio's song in an ironic fashion, then, that might have been something that could have worked.
Yeah, they are smart enough.
It would have been a challenge, simply because there's not only a great deal of emotional impact from Gangster's Paradise, that in turn is because of the source music that it's drawn from. Gangster's Paradise itself is an ironic work. It is darkly, bitterly ironic.
It's one of the reasons why it's so powerful.
Yeah, because it draws on, this previous song and just takes this shadow that you can find within it and explodes it. And if they were going to use that in something like this, they would have needed to do so in a very self-aware fashion.
They did not put it. That was just their fault. They thought they knew what they were doing, which was shoving a recognizable popular song into the trailer because the trailer needed a song that's popular for Sonic to be jamming to because he is it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Sonic is not gangster. He is, however, if you want to go back to the comics, there is potentially darkness to be found there.
No, absolutely. Some of the comic storylines got into some really psychologically dark shit.
Yeah, they were part of an underground rebellion against a tyrant. And the tyrant, in that story arc, he was Dr. Robotnik.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he would do, it was basically like the Cybermen from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
If he could capture you, you would be robotized. Your personality would be ripped out of you. You would be turned into this robotic cybernetic thing designed to hunt down and destroy your friends and family. And that's what they were fighting against.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, is there darkness in the story? Yes. Is that something that they could have gone into if they had wanted to? Yes. However, even that is not gangsta.
No.
There's a reason that you don't see a whole lot of parallels between the human resistance in the Terminator series
yes.
and, Straight Outta Compton.
And sorry, I'm only familiar with Straight Outta Compton and all the Straight Outta memes.
Okay, you've missed out on some amazingly powerful music.
I'm only familiar with the I have no point of reference to the actual book.
The actors.
Yeah, it just heard a lengthy post-reaction discussion.
Well, there was a lot of suck.
There was a lot of suck to kind of
decompress. This trailer caused a vacuum, and it was flames from my mind. It was like my face just split and peeled away, and the skull was burning, and
So what you're saying is you're gonna come and see him at the opening night in November, right?
I thought we were friends. Oh. Oh. No, this was an atrocity exhibition. Mercifully, it was a fairly petty one. No one's lives are being destroyed or anything like that.
Just this soulless cash grab.
Yeah, the one thing about it that I really, that just really pains me is the association of that beautiful work of art. I mean, seriously, he'd always been a good musician, although, you know, to varying degrees, but the point where he really hit the mark was Gangsta's Paradise. And I shudder to think of what was basically Coolio's masterpiece, was basically his one great claim to fame.
Yep.
Being associated with a felt-covered furry.
Yes.
And it hurts the heart. Well, okay, I guess we can call this a reaction.
Yeah.
I reacted.
Yeah.
Frequently.
You reacted for a lot.
Yes, I'm just... God, that's horrible! I'm done.
So next for Coyote Learns is going to be Sonic Boom, right?
You sadistic bastard!
I don't actually know if there's a PC version of that steaming pilot crap. Steaming pilot crap.
I hate you so much.
Steam release of that pilot crap.
It is a hate that is so profound. It kind of forces me to love all of mankind just by comparison.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow. We should. Can we hit the stop button?
Yeah, we can
get more of this.
We can hit the stop button.
Flames.
Yeah.
On camera.
Fucking hell!
I hate when people underestimate my fastness. I'm fast. I'm so fast, you couldn't even comprehend how fast I am.